welcome to the news update on AFRICUNIA television, reaching you from our studio here in the nation's commercial capital, Lagos, Nigeria. I am Deborah Ezeh. On the news update today, we begin with a special report from the think tank industry. The AFCASH, the coin of AFRICUNIA blockchain-powered digital bank, will soon debut on the market through an initial exchange offering, that is IEO, an initial decentralized exchange offering, IDO, after 5 years of daily development. This debut will last for 1 month, starting July 1st, 2022 and ending July 31st, 2022. This represents an essential step in making AFRICUNIA Bank among crypto enthusiasts, as the AFCASH provides future passive revenue for individuals and companies who purchase it. And also, there are plans to integrate AFCASH into a global digital banking platform belonging to its AFRICUNIA ecosystem. The community will be able to use the token on the NFT marketplace for AFRICUNIA, e-commerce marketplace, that is vendorbuy.com, video streaming platform, Pangram City, social media network, jointeam.com, agriculture and farm marketplace, agricunia.com, digital wallet system, AFCASH, multi-blockchain Android /iOS wallet, and the same will be valid for the centralized exchange, esconcio.com. AFCASH holders who own 1% or more of the AFCASH are guaranteed by the team a 20% of the company's annual turnover revenue. More details from AFRICUNIA Bank on upcoming IEO and IDO will soon be announced. And moving on to politics, the majority control of the All Progressives Congress in the Senate is currently under threat, as no fewer than 20 APC senators have concluded plans to defect to the People's Democratic Party, Labour Party, New Nigeria's People Party, and others. It was gathered that other party leaders were worried that if the rate of defection continued and the opposition PDP gained more members, the ruling party might lose its majority status in the Senate. During Wednesday's plenary, Senator Dauda Jika, representing Bauchi Central, announced his defection to NNPP, bringing the number of APC senators to 67. Currently, the 5 minority parties in the upper chamber have 43 senators, with PDP boasting 39 senators, while the Young People's Party, All Progressives Grand Alliance, Labour Party, and the New Nigeria's People Party have 4 senators. Adamu said he did not know if the problem of defection would persist in the party, but he had met with his colleagues at the National Assembly and believed the issue was surmountable. According to the source, not less than 20 senators intend to leave the APC to other parties, particularly the PDP, within the next week. And meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has denied extending the deadline of the ongoing Continuous Voters Registration, CVR, describing the reports that it has agreed to extend the deadline by 60 days as false. Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters, Aishatu Jibril Duku, had, while briefing lawmakers, told members during a plenary session yesterday that the Commission had agreed to extend the CVR by 60 days. But responding Chief Press Secretary to the INEC Chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, clarified that the Commission has not announced an extension of the CVR deadline. The exercise, which was meant to end on June 30th, has been greeted by calls for an extension. Also, a federal high court seat in Abuja had stopped INEC from extending or ending the exercise until all eligible voters had been registered. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has faulted media reports associating it with the extension of the ongoing CVR. The House spokesperson, Benjamin Kalu, said it was untrue that the shift of the INEC voters registration was announced on the floor of the House yesterday. Now, still on the Nigerian scene, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has insisted on the University Transparency and Accountability Solution being created, claiming that the integrated payroll and personal information system will show change in the teachers. The federal government yesterday distanced itself from reports making the rounds that it was contemplating different payment schedules for the various trade unions in the tertiary institution. Now, Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngige told reporters after the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday in Abuja that efforts were ongoing to resolve the crisis soon. He said contrary to insinuations that the government had ignored ASUU, there had been a series of meetings between concerned parties. In another development, the federal government said it has improved the opening of a job portal for Nigerians at home and abroad. Ngige, who also made the disclosure, said the digitization of operations of the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund had equally been approved by the government. And now, in more African stories, the African Union has said it will not be a party to talks that exclude significant actors in an effort to get Sudan's transition back on track after last year's military coup. Sudan's main civilian players have so far boycotted talks with military leaders launched under international auspices earlier this month on reaching a political accommodation that would enable the restoration of desperately needed Western aid. On Wednesday, denouncing erroneous interpretation of the statement, the AU representation in Khartoum clarified that they did not mean that the AU withdraws from the Tigray, that in the form with the UN and the East African Regional Organization IGAD to supervise the dialogue. The AU explains that it is now refusing to participate in certain activities because of the opacity and lack of respect for the participants. In this dialogue, which was launched at the beginning of June and is supposed to put the country back on the path to democracy. And meanwhile, the head of Burkina Faso's ruling junta has met the president he overthrew in a coup this year for talks to try to defuse the political situation. Christan Eriksen, the elected president until his ousting in January, was accompanied by another former president, Jean-Baptiste, during the meeting at the presidential palace. Mr. Kabore shook hands with the Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Santiago Damiba and spoke in an apparently relaxed atmosphere with him. The president said in a statement that the three men discussed security matters, the management of the transition, and other issues of national interest. And still on the African scene, the European Union has urged Ethiopia's government to lift restriction on fuel supplies to the war-wrecked Tigray region, warning that shortages were crippling the distribution of emergency aid. Now, the 19-month conflict between Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government and Tigrayan rebel has driven hundreds of thousands of people to the brink of famine and left more than 9 million in need of food aid, according to the United Nations. After the government announced humanitarian truce in March, aid convoy have slowly made their way to Tigray for the first time since mid-December. But fuel shortages due to government restrictions have severely limited access to life-saving supplies. Even as aid warehouse are full, the EU Commissioner for Crisis Management, Janes, said after a visit to the Tigray's capital, Mekelle. The conflict has driven a wedge between Ethiopia and Western nations, with the United States ending preferential trading status for its longtime ally. We now head to the foreign scene, major stories making the headlines on the foreign scene. Stay with me. Now, welcome back on the world of sports. 4 African countries, Ghana, Botswana, Togo, and the Benin Republic, are expected to participate in the relay event as the nation's trials organized by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria to select athletes for Augean 2022 World Championships and the Commonwealth Games in England begins in Benin City tomorrow. An official hinted that the Nigerian women 4x100 and the mixed relay team also need to improve on their current ranking to guarantee qualification, as the country is currently ranked 16 in both events, which means the nation is occupying the last qualification spot. According to an AFN official, the four countries, Ghana, Botswana, Togo, and the Benin Republic, wants to use the AFN's national trial in Benin City to strengthen their relay squad. Meanwhile, reigning African Games 100-meter champion Raymond Ekwevo and reigning World Under-20 Athlete Championship 200-meter kings Udodi Onwuzurike will be among the 6 top-ranked athletes that will seek to be the national team for the first time at the 2022 Nigerian Athletic Champions in Benin. And finally, Manchester United are in pole position to land Christan Eriksen after Tottenham sacked or backed away from resigning the former Spurs midfielder, according to the Daily Star. Eriksen has yet to decide his future after making a successful comeback with Brentford last season and is available on a free transfer this summer. But it's understood Spurs have not been involved in any serious discussion to sign the Denmark star, who suffered a cardiac arrest at the Euro 2020. This has paved the way for United to make a run at the 30-year-old who had a goal and 4 assists in 11 appearances for the Bees last season. And that concludes the news updates on AFRICUNIA Television today. Do ensure to follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitter in that respective order. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and also link us up on www.africunia.tv to stay connected and up to date to our news and other programs. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Bye for now.